Put your eyes back in your head.
Popped out like flavor. What, Bijan?
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I always wanted to be a neighbor just like you. Y'all talking about a glorious day. A glorious, glorious day. The Atlanta Falcons have indeed and are indeed the kings of the South. Oh boy, I got a day. What a day! What a day! What a day! Not talking about a day. So we got quite a few things to kind of get on point. Oh, we gonna get to them cowgirls. We're gonna get to that. But I think it's something that should be talked about real soon. Okay, we should really talk about this because I think this is something to really, yeah, I think this is something to really be excited about. There are three teams, or three other teams in the NFC South, but this really just came to mind, and this is something that talked about a while back. And I thought this was a situation where it really turned the table. It was 2021. 2021 where I thought everything for this division started going down a separate way. Probably 2020. Where I thought that there was a clear indication of where things should be and it was heading. And even then, I thought to myself, like, okay, everybody in the world can see that this NFC South was headed down the road where it should have been 4 teams at that particular time that they should be rebuilding. Yeah, it should have been 4 teams. It's like you had old ass Tom Brady. You decide that you wanted to bring in some other guys and you really didn't want to rebuild with the Saints. The Carolina Panthers have been Carolina Panthers. They have been to the point where they really want to trade CMC. DJ Moore, they didn't know what they really wanted. The owner, and then you have the Bucks. Like I said, the Bucks, the Panthers, and the Aints. I thought it was around that year where I said to myself, like, all right, the Atlanta Falcons in 2020, I just didn't see anything. It was clear that we weren't going to get back to a certain level. And they should have started rebuilding. Well, the Falcons got the memo. They didn't try to hang on to the past. They got the memo. They brought in guys like Terry Fontenot, a young Arthur Smith at the time, thought he would be, the guy to help take us over the, take us to the next step. But that didn't necessarily happen. But I could say that, it was a adjustment period with Arthur Smith to kind of set a foundation of what, this team could have been. And I'm saying all this to say this. The Saints should have got the memo. Like, they're the only team that's still trying to hang on to the past. Now, I'm not going to say that because I feel like the Bucs are still trying to hang on to the past. That team should, in my opinion, should be looking to rebuild. And right now we're seeing that there should be. You brought in a quarterback like Baker Mayfield is who he is. Baker Mayfield is not going to get any better than what he is right now. Okay, Baker Mayfield is not going to get any better. Mike Evans is getting old. Godwin, although he's still got he's still on the younger side of things. Still got a few years ahead of him, but for the most part, that team is just it should have been done. But the Bucs don't want to give up. They don't want to start over. That defense, they have a lot of old pieces over there. They have a lot of old pieces on the offense, rebuilding the offensive line, running backs. Like John said, Urban is a young guy, but that's only because, just for the last year or so with him, you see what he can do. But outside of that, there's not a lot of bright spots with the Bucs. Not a lot of bright spots with the Panthers. Damn sure not a lot of bright spots for the Saints. And today that they fired their head coach, Dennis Allen, and the crazy part about this and the funny part about this is everybody saw it but the Saints. Saints still think they back in 2009. I have no idea why in the bloody hell they still trying to hang on to this team. You really thought that this team defensively was going to live up to the hype. I'm still trying to figure that one out. They fired their head coach and Dennis Green, a guy that shouldn't have had the head coaching job to begin with because he's never been that type of guy to lead. He's not a leader of men. He's a weaker version of Dan Quinn. He's just a player coach, and they just run all over this dude. They got no respect for him. I knew that they had no respect for him when he just told them to, especially last year, when Jameis Winston decided to say, "Fuck that head coach. We're gonna go for a touchdown." It's like that right there was a clear indication of their respect for Dennis Allen. So I say all this to say that good. Good. Them son of a bitches deserved it. Not only are these guys doing some of the most despicable things that you can see on the field, that organization has no pity and they have no morals. You have a guy literally on the ground giving a guy a Gatorade trying to break his leg. Yeah, this is what their organization does. Not only do they go out their way to the bounty gate, hurting people intention, but that's what they breed. This is why they're the most disgusting team in the NFL outside of them, them pissy ass Philadelphia Eagles fans. This is the culture that you breed. You breed complete jackasses. And then you wondering why these guys, from what I understand, I think he's played how many games this year? 8 games, and this dude has yet to get a sack. yet they're still trying to hold on to him. Cameron Jordan thinks he's the Cameron Jordan of old. The Saints thinks he's the Cam Jordan of old. Don't have no clue why these guys think that. And to see that organization struggling, it's like music to my ears. So God dang it, you got that right. The Saints should blow that team up. And it, like I said, it's to the point now. It's like you get exactly what you would. Because that man, I forget the defensive end that did it, but the guy that did that gator roll on the man on the quarterback's leg, he should have been fined. He should have been suspended, but nothing happened. He should have been suspended for that. There's no place in the league where you deliberately try to injure a guy to that magnitude. And then to see Cam Jordan's career come to an end, I hope he realizes that his career is pretty much over because he's not the same player. I don't even think that he's even in a good. I don't even think he's in the, as a starter. I think he's just not that good. Can't really look good. Corey, what's going on about whatever? Joseph, what's going on? Juju. Mike, how you doing? Michael Dubber. Tail Sports and Gaming, y'all skate. Robert Bennett, what's going on? John St. Clair, how you doing, sir? Sonia, Christy, how you doing? D. Sloan, what's going on? Auntie Pam. Tank, what's going on? DJ, what's going on? Say Lopez, Terry Lloyd, Austin, how everybody doing? And we're gonna get into some good things. yeah, Brian. Like this right here is this. You did it to yourself. Yep, you did it to yourself. Thank you for the $4.99. Appreciate it, brother. Like, but you did it to yourself. The organization is going right back to putting the paper bags on their head. Now you gotta suffer the consequences. Yep, you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. And this is probably the first time in a long time that I can say that the Falcons, when you talk about those guys were ahead, these guys were ahead of the curve. They knew at that point in time that obviously when Matt Brown, Julio Jones, especially when we decided to make a tough decision to trade Matt Ryan, I think they knew that the ride was over. That ride with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Dan Quinn, and everybody that's left from that at that particular time, coaches, front office personnel, like they knew at that time that it was done. And I think the Falcons did the right thing. Arthur Blank did the right thing to essentially just blow it all up, bring in new guys. And it was the right thing to do. So now we see it was the right thing to do. And I love it. But right now, when you look at the NFC South, man, The Falcons have. You talking about the Atlanta Falcons, man? Like it's the way that they built this team at this particular point, man. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to be in a good position for quite some time. So yeah, the Falcons obviously sitting in 6-3 in the NFC South, and then you look at the NFC, the NFC. There's the NFC South. Wow, something that I never thought I would see is I did not see the Cardinals being 5-4 sitting on top of their division. But that division is far from over. It's like the 49ers are sitting 4-4, Rams are 4-4, and the Cardinals are 5-4. I believe they have a bye coming up shortly, and then, if I'm not mistaken, you have the Seahawks. They're 4-5. The Commanders and the Eagles. The Commanders are 7-2. Eagles 6-2. Cowboys 3-5. Giants 2-7. Look like they're going to be looking for a new quarterback because I do not see the Giants staying with Daniel Jones, obviously. But the Falcons are in good position, man. And I'm looking at the conference standings. And yes, well, I'm gonna get a little bit of Mr. Ridley in. Riddle me this, riddle me that. This is really interesting looking at how so we have the Lions sitting on top. They're the number one team in the NFC. Followed by the Commanders. The Atlanta Falcons are third. The Cardinals, obviously, with their winning their division. On top of their division right now, they're behind the Falcons. You have the Vikings, the Eagles, the Packers. Now, it's still not over for the it's still not over for the Bucks, but being that the Falcons are right there, like I said, they got a ways to go. Chris Olave talking to taking as many concussions as Tua, and like I said, this is the point where I say it's like you look at the Saints, man, they really have to. It's done, man. Like they're done. There's no need for them to get the Falcons get payback last year. Oh, look, they've already gotten payback. To be honest, everybody, look, you got that old ass Cameron Jordan still thinking, I don't know what the hell he like. I honestly thought that the Panthers would beat them. So them beating the Saints really didn't surprise me whatsoever. That team is old, it's decrepit. They brought in guys like, a lot of them guys, even Chase Young, everybody's, worrying whether or not he could be possibly brought in at some point. He's dealing with some nagging injuries too, for the most part. Like he got a huge question mark on him because of a neck. Being that uh, he's I wouldn't say playing on borrowed time, but it could go wrong for him at any given time with Chase Young. So I wouldn't even look at him, to be honest, as a potential. Even if he got cut or the possible trade, I wouldn't even look at him because of that. And then Brian, people said he had 89 million, right? A negative 89 million for the next offseason. They got to exterminate the house. And that's that right there. This is exactly why I just don't understand what they were thinking, but they really had a chance, especially with the Atlanta Falcons and the move that they made. I have no clue on why they thought that they had a chance. This is arrogance, and it's just refusing to believe that it's over. And yeah, I think Terry saw the writing on the wall, 2-3 years ahead of time. And I think a lot of people saw the writing on the wall, except for the owner. $89 million, where you done cut so many guys, tried to restructure so many contracts, and all of that starting to let's keep it real. All of this, it's starting to it's starting to really look like it was just foolish. You should have taken it in consideration. You should have been honest about it, and you should have listened to, the truth. Too many injuries, too many guys that retired, guys like Michael Thomas, too many injuries over the phone. Like it was so many signs, obvious signs for the Saints to say, all right, instead of re-signing and restructuring contracts to give more year for one more year, well, you weren't that good to begin with. And then you went out and you traded for one of the most over. I'm not saying Derek Carr is a terrible quarterback, but he's one of the most overhyped. And he's showing you that he is what he is. But you go out here and give him that much money thinking that you had a legit opportunity to win, it was just foolish. So all right, so let's get to this one. All right, obviously with that, Tom Pelissero said with the fired Dennis Allen after a 7-game losing streak, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like it'll be a fire sale before tomorrow's trade deadline. They've gotten calls and could move the likes of Marshawn Lattimore, but a widespread of sell-off is unlikely. I mean, shit, you already $90-something million, and that you got to go down with the ship. Like, I don't think, for the most part, it'll happen this year, but in the offseason, I can definitely see that the Saints are going to be selling off a lot of pieces and letting a lot of guys go. So this is not really surprising. I've heard the possible trades for Marshawn Lattimore to the Chiefs, I believe it was. Obviously, the Chiefs are trying to go for a 3-peat, so I could see that happening. Them bringing in another corner. I could see that happening, but Lattimore is just not the same type of player. So it wouldn't even surprise me that he even stays. We got this. I think this is an interesting. And we have Tory McElhaney said, you see the stat that depicts Kirk Cousins' growing comfort and confidence in the offense. He's completed 8 of 11 passes for 110 yards and a touchdown when under pressure. So again, 8 of 11 when he's under pressure. And the more you look at this team, I know Jew has talked about this. We've talked about this also, but this team is looking awfully similar to what the 2016 Super Bowl teams like. The Falcons are just getting hot at the right time, especially offensively, man. This team is really starting to come together, And the conversation that I wanted to have is whether or not Kirk Cousins is the MVP. I really want to. I really want to look at this team and dissect this. So I'm gonna go into it a little bit, and I'm gonna answer you guys' questions. So you can already lead the questions in right now if you have questions. But this is what I want to talk about: Kirk Cousins. But the Kirk Cousins conversation is not only MVP. I got another topic, and I may do that on the evening show on the originators. We might go on that one and talk about it. But is Kirk Cousins really the MVP for the Atlanta Falcons? MVP? Because a lot of people are looking at Lamar Jackson, what he's doing and what they're doing. But these guys are 6-3, man. Yeah, I like. Which Lamar is Lamar really the MVP? No, that's not. No, I totally disagree with that. Yeah, I totally disagree with that. But I'll get to that. But when you got a quarterback that he's not only getting pressured, but like this man, he looks comfortable. And Kirk Cousins. And the thing about that, he's not only reinvigorating his offense is the passing game is starting to really find its way. Not only is he throwing the ball down the field, like he and Mooney look so freaking great right now. Like MVP. And I want to know why people don't think. I want let me know why, because the thing is most valuable player. And the thing is, when you look at Lamar Jackson, they designed that team around him. So is he really the MVP, the most valuable player? Because if you look at what Derrick Henry is doing, like, can I honestly say that Derrick Henry is probably more valuable to that team at this particular point to get them over a hump? Because Derrick Henry already got 1,000 yards right now, if I'm not mistaken. That dude is already like playing out of his mind. So is Lamar Jackson really the MVP or the most valuable for his team? Because it's scary to see a guy like Derrick Henry at this particular point with 1,000 yards already, and we in half the year. So how good and how great has Lamar Jackson been when you got a guy that's already got 1,000 yards right now and Derrick Henry? It's like that team is designed to put up a bunch of numbers. They run both of these guys through the ground. 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And that's probably the first time you're going to see him even get close to 4,000 yards in his entire career. So this is the thing we talking about for Lamar Jackson. It's like, is this dude just a stat paddle, or is he really that valuable to the team? Because if he was really that valuable to the team, they'll find a way to get to an AFC championship and actually win it. Or find a way to get to the Super Bowl and win it. Because he puts up these numbers all the time. So how valuable can he really be? But when you look at the Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins are a completely different team. Because you had a team that was 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, The defense played pretty well, got a number of sacks. And right now, the defense this year, these guys, they may not be getting the sacks, but they're getting a lot of turnovers. The offensive line is still doing what the offensive line does, but the running game for the Atlanta Falcons. But like when you look at Kirk Cousins, what he's been able to bring to not only Kyle Pitts, because a lot of people look at Kyle Pitts and saying it's like, all right, he was a bust. Now Kirk Cousins becomes the quarterback, and now we got Kyle Pitts looking like the player that we thought he was. Now, he didn't have a particularly great game as far as his stats is concerned. 1 catch for 11 yards, but it was obvious to me that the Falcons' game plan was to really just focus on beating the Dallas Cowboys and running the ball. They weren't necessarily focused on them. As far as Kyle Pitts as a receiver, the Falcons were focused on Kyle Pitts as a receiver. You know what I'm saying? They really wasn't focused on him. They was focused on Kyle Pitts. They were focused on Kyle Pitts as a tight end. And this is what I got a comment earlier today or last night when someone said, well, one thing that stood out to him is that Kyle Pitts didn't have a good game. Yeah, Kyle Pitts did have a good game. The thing is, y'all looking for him to be Julio Jones. Y'all looking for him to be a wide receiver. Well, he hit 5, 10, 20 targets a game. Well, he's again, this is what's going to happen with a tight end. There are going to be games where he is being used as a receiver because teams are going to be more. They're going to be more. Teams are definitely going to be more aggressive and send blitzes and bring the safeties up, and they're not going to they're going to double him every chance they get. And this is one of those games that Dallas decided that they were not going to allow the Atlanta Falcons to just sit back and throw the ball. They were going to bring the heat. They're going to play a lot of man. In certain situations, they're going to play a lot of man. And then, Kyle Pitts did a lot of blocking this game. And they're going to utilize the running game, which we did with Bijan Robinson. It was the Bijan Robinson show. So the thing is with it's like you look at when you got a wide receiver, not only like Drake London before the injury, he caught a touchdown, doing his thing as a blocker, doing his thing as a wide receiver. Then you got Darnell Mooney. It's like, do we really need Kyle Pitts to go off like that when you got 3 guys that you can count on, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney, and Drake London? Do we really need them like that? And like I said, you look at Kyle Pitts, he's been a great blocker as a tight end. So a lot of people saying that he's not one of those guys that, he's not consistent. He's a tight end. My thing is, what are you looking for that tight end? For anybody that believe that Kyle Pitts isn't consistent, like, what do you expect from tight ends? There are games where tight ends don't touch the ball. It was this season when Mark Andrews, he didn't have a single catch for like 2 to 3 games. They were barely throwing him the ball. And now all of a sudden, they opening the offense up a little bit more with Lamar Jackson, and he's starting to get those catches. So these are the things that happen with tight ends. More so tight ends than they do receivers. And I think people need to realize what Kyle Pitts is. He's a tight end. The Falcons are going to leave him in, and I think we saw that on that sack where they left him in and blocking, they chip block, and end up getting Kirk Cousins hit. So these are the things that the Falcons are doing with him. They're using him like a tight end. Until fans realize that he is a tight end and he's not a receiver, and you're going to have games with Kyle Pitts where he doesn't get targets, John said, I think Kirk would take us to a Super Bowl. Then MVP, if not MVP, definitely comeback player of the year. I mean, I can already see the comeback player of the year with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Jabari, that's a great point. Like, he was pretty much on point last year for like 8 games around the same. I think he had like same amount of touchdowns, if not more. I think he had like 18 touchdowns or something like that around week 8 or so last year. So this is Kirk Cousins. It's like the Falcons are scoring touchdowns now. And that's one thing under Arthur Smith that we thought that he would bring from Tennessee, where he would get us in the end zone. The moniker around him while he was with Tennessee is that, or his skill set when he was with Tennessee, that those guys had excellent red zone efficiency. And he just didn't bring that over with the Atlanta Falcons. We kicked way too many field goals, and that's the same thing that's even happened with Pittsburgh, with a younger quarterback. But like even now, you're starting to see the same thing. So the creativity as far as Arthur Smith versus a Zach Robinson, you can already see compare that to what we're seeing with Kirk Cousins at the helm. Kirk Cousins has always been one of those quarterbacks that get touchdowns. He just knows how to get the ball and score touchdowns. So the Atlanta Falcons are scoring touchdowns right now. So for me, if I'm going to choose whether or not Lamar is the MVP or Kirk Cousins right there, I think they sitting neck and neck. Because like I said, you got to take into account that you got a running back that already has 1,000 yards rushing right now. And you're wondering why wide receivers are wide open. These wide receivers are wide open because you got 2 guys that's just going to run. Their whole game is to run. Josh Allen should be in the mix. Everyone thought he'd fall off. I don't know about fall off, but the team is not the same. But like Josh Allen is doing exactly what he always does. So his numbers is not really surprising. How you doing, Eddie? Yeah, a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Like, if you're not scoring touchdowns or having some incredible play, most of these guys think you just trash. Like I said, it's just crazy for me to even hear that, which I got another. So this is interesting, and this is another reason why I wanted to talk about this, that Bijan Robinson is leading the NFL in yards after catch. See, this is the reason why you have a guy like Bijan Robinson starting. He leading the NFL in yards after catch. This is exactly what you want. This is the element that you're getting with Bijan Robinson versus Tyler Algier. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but I gotta hurt some feelings here. This is the reason why, and you saw a couple times. Me and my brother was saying to himself too. The offense was happening, and I believe someone on the crew, I forget who it was, but somebody on the crew when Tyler, I think it was cased out, but they saying that even when Tyler Algier gets in the game, what happens with the defense is that they just sell out on the run. When Tyler Algier is in the game, they sell out on the run. Man, what's going on? They brought 8, 9 guys in the box, and they just sell out and they blitz, and they get very aggressive when Tyler Algier is in the game. So the thing is with Zach Robinson, and this is one of the things with Tyler Algier that you have to find a way to put him in the mix of the game, depending on what the situation and depending on what the defense is. You can't just throw him in there because when he's in the game, a couple things gonna happen. They're gonna get the ball out quick, or they're gonna sell out. They're gonna get the ball out quick, so it means a lot of their DBs are gonna be close to our wide receivers, and 2, their safeties are gonna move up. And for the most part, you're gonna look at Tyler Algier. He's gonna run the ball, and he's gonna run the ball, and he's gonna run the ball. So, in my opinion, right now, and this is why I highlighted this particular stat, is because when Bijan Robinson is in the game, you can't just sell out on the run. And one of the things that I'm hearing from Bijan Robinson that I thought was very interesting is that he stated that he's finally starting to see the field a lot better. That he wasn't hesitating. He's not hesitating now. And this is something that I talked about for quite some time with Bijan Robinson. When he learns how to see the holes, and when he learns how to really read defenses and pick up what defenses are doing pre-snap, like, this dude is going to be an animal, and he's really beginning to find his zone. Their offense is balanced as ever. Kirk shouldn't be throwing more than 25 to 30 times with Bijan and Tyler there with skilled positions. Kiss is really going to get that 10 reception game. Oh yeah, and this is why I say again, man, this Atlanta Falcons team, these guys are, and Kyle Pitts is a tight end. We don't need him when you got a guy like Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney deserves more targets right now. But what's going to happen is teams are going to let up on a guy like Drake London. And the more that Darnell Mooney keeps making big plays the way he's making, teams are just going to have to shift a lot of their field. They're going to have to shift their defense to him. They're going to have to shade their defense to Darnell Mooney. And, like, the more that you shade to Darnell Mooney, it's going to open up some running names for these guys, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. I will say this on that touchdown to Drake London, that if you look at it, Tyler Algier was pitched out as a wide receiver, what was really interesting. So I do like the creativity that I'm seeing from Zach Robinson, that when Tyler Algier is in the game, he is mixing things up. So he's forcing the defense to kind of, like, all right, when Tyler's in the game, we're not necessarily going to run the ball. We're not going to be the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be predictable when Tyler Algier. So you're starting to see how good Zach Robinson is, how creative Zach Robinson is, along with Raheem Morris, because a lot of people don't know Raheem Morris in 2016, he was the one that designed the passing game for the Atlanta Falcons. So at this point, is it both Raheem as well as Zach Robinson? Sprinkling a little bit in there with Zampese. Like, it's interesting. But we're starting to see this Atlanta Falcons offense go to that next level. like I said, right now, I believe they are a top 10 offense for sure, but I think they're top 5 offense on top of it. And for the last, 4 to 5 games or so, the Atlanta Falcons it was 30 points. We were just shy of 30 points with 27 points a game. So the Falcons are getting closer and closer to putting up 30 points a game. And any team that puts up 30 points a game, the defense doesn't have to do as much. You can do a little bit more experimenting with your defense when your offense is putting up 30 points. Dang near 30 points, 27, 28 points a game. And Falcons saying, yeah, a lot of these guys are still young. Drake is still finding his game. Kyle Pitts is really finding himself as a tight end and learning how to use his playmaking, his skills in the right situation. Bijan Robinson is learning how to be a running back. When he learns how to be a running back, he's just going to be as explosive as a Derrick Henry is right now. He's going to be as explosive as a Christian McCaffrey. When he finally learns and gets comfortable and utilize his vision and trust what he sees, is not hesitating, Bijan Robinson is going to be a monster, and this offense is going to be damn near impossible to stop. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And again, y'all got some questions, I'll take these questions. Yeah, Ray does a very good job of utilizing his athleticism. If we can just get him to stay on his feet and stop being so dang on clumsy, this Falcons team, like I said, this Falcons team just has speed and versatility all over it. And it's to a point with like Kirk Cousins looking so damn good at the quarterback, man, and his team has yet to really find their identity completely 100%. I think they're about 80% there, but I still think these guys can be much better offensively than what we've seen. I don't think we've seen the best game from the Atlanta Falcons yet, which is crazy, but because how we, pretty much put up 550 yards against the Bucs. I still don't think the Falcons are still found their stride offensively. So I think, once they get there, get a couple guys back on the defense side of the ball, and, defense side of the ball, get healthy, get more opportunities to the offense. I think this offense is going to get closer to more so a 30 points per game offense when we get this defense. We got 3 sacks. I think we had 5 tackles for losses. So those guys pressured the quarterback all night long. They hit the quarterback all day long. Like, this team is finally starting to find themselves. And the one thing that I do like about the defense is they're not being arrogant like a lot of coaches do. They bring in their guys, and instead of if their guys aren't producing, they just keep trying to force it down our throat instead of all right, if these guys aren't doing it, let's see what a guy like Damon Harris is doing. Damon Harris has been pretty good for the Atlanta Falcons, and they're bringing in guys like D'Angelo Malone. These guys are getting opportunities to make plays. So I love the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are utilizing everybody and saying look, we need to get sacks, we need to get pressure, and we need to be able to get pressure, and it doesn't matter who and where it comes from. And one thing that I do like what the Atlanta Falcons did is they did not put Kaden Ellis in coverage situations again. So this defense is making the necessary adjustments. And I think that right there with Kaden Ellis as an edge guy, again, he got a sack. I think he had 3 tackles for losses, 13 tackles. This guy was all over the place. And we didn't use him in coverage situations. Okay, we didn't use him in coverage situations. So the Atlanta Falcons are doing a good thing. They're doing a very good thing, and they're learning, and they're making the adjustments under coaching staff, which is always a good thing. What do you think about Nick Sirianni single-handedly trying to lose the game for? Like, that dude is a ticking time bomb. The only reason why he's even significant at this point is because of Saquon Barkley. And Saquon need to chill. I'm gonna be honest. That shit is absolutely incredible for what I saw, but that motherfucker need to chill, bro. Like, he really needs to chill. I really be thinking about, like, his legs about to pop off. That motherfucker be trying to hop off one leg and goddamn do a spin heel kick like fucking Liu Kang or some shit. Like, bro, calm your ass down. You already got one goddamn torn ACL. And you up here jumping backwards and shit like you a goddamn gymnast from goddamn, like you Simone Biles and fucking and shit. Like, bro, calm your ass down. Now, that shit was fire, but like the only reason why Nick Sirianni at this point still has a job is because of Saquon Barkley. I don't know. He is back and he's practicing, but I think the Atlanta Falcons is just trying to keep him on the bench as long as they possibly can until they get to that bye week. So everybody, do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Yeah, and like I said, that dude is an incredible athlete, and that shit was incredible. But I don't want my running backs consistently jumping backwards and shit. No, I see Bijan do some shit like that. Yeah, I'll be like, damn. But I don't want my running back jumping backwards and shit. That shit is insane. A backwards hurdle. Like, who the fuck does that? Why would you want to do that? All that's just instincts. But as far as Nick Sirianni, he done. I don't. Yeah, and Vic Fangio has always been a very good defensive coordinator. So that defense being turned around, but he may just get another chance because they are 6-2 now, been on a little bit of a run. Obviously the Falcons beat them, but like, how good are the Eagles? How good are they really? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get better, but it's going to be interesting to say the least. Yeah, dude, like I said, dude out here jumping backwards and stuff like that. Yeah. The spin move, I'm cool with, but I don't want my players jumping backwards. Like, players, like I said, if I'm a coach, I don't want motherfuckers jumping backwards. Don't do no shit like that. Absolutely not. No. You jumping backwards, motherfucker hit you in your spine? Nah, bro. And look, it's the same thing we seeing from Jaden Daniels that we saw from CJ Stroud. Like, it's all good in the moment, but I'm hearing rumors that players are already, and like I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm hearing rumors that players already want to be traded to Washington. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. All right, we've seen this time and time again when NFL players or young NFL quarterbacks come in the NFL and do great the first year, but like that second, third, fourth year, they return, they get a reality check. Defense start to figure them out, how they can play against them. Should I sit in the house? Is he more comfortable going to the left or the right or going up the middle? Like these are the things. Like if you look at um at a period of time, even with Cam Newton, like everybody knew that he would try to escape in the middle of the field. He would always try to run toward the middle of the field. So defense started to use that spy in the middle of the field. So this is the same thing that we're seeing with CJ Stroud. Like they're finally understanding, all right, where he doesn't like to be pressured, where he goes when he's pressured, what is his escape route, all these types of things. So right now, Jaden Daniels is doing everything possible, and he's playing great football. But like, what is he going to look like in the playoffs? What is he going to look like when teams finally figure it out? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to see. So right now, he's doing a good job. But is it really? Are you really going to? The thing is, man, how good are you if you're relying on a young rookie quarterback to get you to not only the playoffs, which I think that's doable, but like, how good are you really if you're relying on a quarterback to lead you to a championship? That right there is the thing. And you got Mike McCarthy. Look, they just looking for the right opportunity to fire him. I'm surprised he's still the damn head coach, to be honest. I don't see how this guy even stays, to be honest. That team has quit on him. And what I saw yesterday was just an absolute atrocity. You done paid this man $30 million as a wide receiver, and his damn arm about to fall off, but y'all just kept throwing him out there. Like, are you making the moves, or is this Jerry Jones saying, yep, I paid this man, you better play him? I think yesterday was one of those moments where this was clearly obvious that Jerry Jones is running the team. And he has this unrealistic expectation that this guy is going to be, that they got an opportunity to get to the playoffs. You're done, bro. You need to fire Mike McCarthy, start all over again. And from what I understand, people talking about Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick, I don't think he wants anything to do with Dallas. I don't think the Eagles are coached well at all, even though Hurts has improved. There's still some questions on him. I think because the Eagles' talent, they got a lot of talent. And like I said, talent can only get you so far when you're going against other good teams. That can only get you so far. You got to have veteran leadership, and you got to have a coach that understands what to do and what not to do. Like I said, if they don't have Saquon Barkley, are they really that team? Are they really the same team? And I don't think so. Because they lean heavily on him, not only in the run game, but in the passing game. With A.J. Brown, with a lot of injuries with him, defense is playing better, but like I said, you rely heavily on a running back, that does have some injury issues. But you got your wide receivers that have injury issues. So how good are they really, and how long? How long can they keep this up? I don't think that defense is as good, even though they have improved. But I don't think they're as good to stop the Atlanta Falcons or a team like the Lions. I don't see it. I mean, Carson Beck for me. There's a lot of if you expecting good quarterback play out of Georgia, the coaching, Kirby has no fucking clue what he doing with the quarterback coach or the quarterback. And then you combine that with a dumbass offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, who wants to throw 15,000 screens every damn game. And there's really no middle, like they have no passing game when it comes down to the middle of the field. It's either throw the ball deep or throw 15,000 screens. And then you wonder why your quarterback is struggling because you're not running the ball. Like Mike Bobo believed that handing the ball off with a draw is a running play. So when you see Georgia, when they are playing well, they're mixing the pass game with the running game, and they are running the ball. But like this is why you see Carson Beck getting such bad, and he throws so many interceptions because he's forcing to do two things: throw a damn screen and throw the ball deep. And a lot of those wide receivers on Georgia, they have been dropping a lot of passes. So looking at Carson Beck, it's a multitude of things of him not being comfortable and play calling and decision making from the coaching staff. So it's a number of things that goes into that. No, that Johnson, I get that he putting himself in that, but like you're supposed to be the head coach. You take his helmet and you hide it from him. I've seen plenty of coaches do that, take their helmet from him, and then they get into an argument on the sideline. That right there tells me that Mike McCarthy has absolutely no control over his team. That this guy's literally showed about the damn bust out because he got an AC joint issue, but you letting him keep going out there. That's crazy. Like the Cowboys got talent, but they stupid. It's a stupid organization. Well, we run screens, but we don't run the same bubble screens over and over again. Bubble screens drive me fucking nuts. Falcons get a little bit more creative with their screens, and a lot of teams, a lot of play caller, they run the same type of screens over and over again. The Falcons, I will say that they do mix up their screen plays, but they don't run the same screen over and over again. Like the one with Bijan Robinson, where he went in motion and then came back on the right side. He did that a couple of times where they use a lot of motion, and then off of that motion, the Falcons throw a screen, but they don't run the same screens over and over again. And everybody knows it. Like if you look at what Carson Beck, those guys throw that same screen on the left side almost every game. Everybody in the country know what's coming. And then you wondering why he's throwing interceptions. You running the same freaking play over and over again. So yeah, and that's the thing. Like this is why I was like the Cowboys, they let the inmates and the players run that asylum. The coaches have that's why, to be honest, I would never want to go to Dallas as a coach, especially offensively. Because the offense, we all know that Jerry Jones is going to run that offense. He don't care nothing about defense. So he shouldn't even be you got a wide receiver telling you what you gonna do if he gonna get in the game. He's literally hurt, but he telling you that he's gonna get. He waving you off. Nah, bro. Grab your fucking helmet and sit his ass down. So it's a number of things when it comes down to Beck. It's a number of issues with Carson Beck that I see. It's not just all right, he's just throwing interceptions. Wide receivers, play calling, momentum, all that goes into it. One thing that I hate about college is that the quarterbacks don't really call plays. It's like they do whatever they want to do. They can't do what they want to do. They got to look to the sideline. Oh, if a team start, creeping their linebackers up, they got to look to the sideline and see what the coaches call. Like, that shit is ridiculous. Like, why are you looking to the sideline and look at what the call is? Like, what the fuck is that? And then you wonder why quarterbacks struggle. It's because you're thinking for them. All the coaches are thinking for quarterbacks these days. So, like I said before, in regards to Kirk Cousins, I think, I think the thing with Kirk Cousins, man, right now, I say he's the MVP of this season, is because you look at what the Atlanta Falcons were last year, and you look at them this year. Like, is it really any other quarterback besides Lamar Jackson that is as high as him? I don't think so. I think it's Lamar, and I think it's Kirk Cousins for the MVP. Anything else is ridiculous. And oh God, somebody did name Caleb Williams. Interesting. Y'all gonna make me talk about Mustang Jr. It does it really surprise y'all? You got 9 touchdowns, 1,600 yards, 5 interceptions. And like I said, this is exactly what I mean when you talk about a quarterback. A young quarterback, yeah, he starts and have those games, but like, you got to have, and they already talking about firing their coaches already because of what's going on with Chicago. And this is the NFL. This is why quarterbacks suck ass so much right now. Because we have these dumbass organizations that think that if you just have a quarterback, that's the end all be all. You have these offensive players and these quarterback way too much power. You give them way too much power. Way too much power. Build a team around these guys, and then you wonder why these guys can't get to the next level. Because you built the whole team around that one player. No, they're winning because they have actually a pretty good defense. Like, Josh Allen is going to put up numbers. Okay? Josh is going to put up numbers. But how valuable is he really? So let's just go down. Like, he playing the Cardinals, Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens. And he looked awful in it. And then the Texans, Jets, Titans, Seattle, like Dolphins. Like, he's not playing great teams at this point. I think the only very good team you can look at is the Ravens and maybe the Texans, and that's probably it, looking at what he's done this year. So he's not playing some of the greatest. He's not playing some of the best defenses. When you're throwing a bunch of screens and running all the time, the opportunity to throw interceptions and stuff like that greatly decreases. So don't be fooled by a quarterback with 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like, you got 2 interceptions because you're not taking chances. I don't know whether Jake Matthews has been on the climb from. He has only given up 3 sacks all year. It's because they're stupid. Yeah, people just dumb. They don't really look at other teams, and that's why I say you got to look at other teams and what their tackles and what their players are doing. Because you just solely focus on your guy because it's your guy, and you don't look around the league and see what everybody else's numbers are and what everyone else is doing. It's easy to say that a guy like Jake Matthews or Caleb McGarry, these guys suck. Because your focus is always on them. You're not looking at everybody else's guard. You're not looking at everybody tackle. You're not looking at everybody running back. But Caleb has been exactly what I thought he would be. And the NFL is starting to understand him too. And yeah, Chicago getting old boy, and I don't know if they're getting it hip or they just thought he was just going to be a mobile quarterback where he just run around and make all the plays. I think that's the thing too. You see a lot of dumb offensive coordinators. They think that because they got a young quarterback that can run, that he's going to make the offensive line better. And it never works that way, thinking that because you got a mobile quarterback, that your offensive line automatically is going to get better. And Chicago is figuring that out. Now they don't know what to do with Caleb in that offense. And like I said, from what I'm hearing from Chicago Bears fans, they want their head coach gone. So they might be getting a new coaching staff to go with Caleb Williams. Yeah, like me, I think I think Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson for sure. I can easily see Bijan Robinson, Kirk Cousins right off top. And Money keep playing the way he playing, he'll be a Pro Bowler himself. So that's why I say a lot of, if you even look at what, and this is why you look at why Lamar Jackson, why he can't beat Kansas City, is Kansas City don't really care. They rather see him run. And they will play deep coverage and force him to check the ball down and they tackle well. So that's why you're seeing a lot of quarterbacks, they're not really taking a lot of chances as far as throwing the ball downfield and throwing the ball in the middle of the field. They would rather check the ball down because that's what the defenses are giving them right now. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of big plays down the field with quarterbacks and the numbers for the quarterbacks to them, because defenses are taking that deep ball away. So when you have a Lamar Jackson who can run, he can check the ball down. And then you have, to go with that, a Derrick Henry, like he's not turning the ball over. And I think we have good quarterbacks in the NFL. The thing is, we have terrible coaching. And it's something that Tom Brady talked about, Matt Ryan talked about, Peyton Manning, all of them they taking back because they're teaching quarterbacks playbooks rather than teaching them how to attack systems. It's just terrible, terrible scheme. You're teaching them how to run your playbook rather than read defenses. And you're teaching them little small things like throw the ball deep, check it out to the running back, and that's it. And run if you need to. So we gotta, like I said, the end of the day, man. I think Kirk Cousins is Lamar Jackson, and it's going to be a season long. Yeah, I think this is going to be a season long. It's going to be all year long, and it's not going to come back to a couple of guys. But the thing is, with McVay, they had a veteran defense. So they had a pretty good defense. So it's not so much just like coaches can get there, but like you still that defense with the Rams when they won it, they had Aaron Donald they had veteran guys on their defense side of the ball. So you can win championships with young quarterbacks, but that defense at some point. So yeah. So they got a lot of, like, when you see a lot of most teams, especially teams like that, what they try to do is build a young offense with skill, see how that works, and then they pretty much put a veteran defense together. So during the course of the year, you're not only winning because you have a damn good defense, but you have a young offense that are making plays. And I think it's the perfect balance. Sometimes it works with the young quarterback, like sometimes, and that's a very low percentage is young quarterbacks actually winning championships. So a lot of people probably thinking that, Jaden Daniels is going to be that. Like, I don't think so. He's doing a good job, but I just don't. At some point, he's going to hit that rookie wall. You can only get so lucky for so many times. So hold on, let me see something. The trade down. So yeah, I don't really see anything as far as the Falcon trade deadline. Nothing. But it's all. What I am saying is just the Saints firing Dennis Allen is all. Yeah. So nothing as of yet. So the only thing that I'm seeing from Ian Rappaport is that he has a hip pointer. So like the hip is basically they're saying he's just gonna have to pay through some pain with the hip pointer. So it's not a long-term injury with Drake. Like I said, it's more so pain and helping them get through the pain and I don't see anything on Grady Jarrett as far as his injury is concerned from what I heard and what I saw him on the sideline. He was jumping, he was running, he was doing all that, he was cheering. So I think Grady, for the most part, I think it was precautionary with Grady Jarrett, but a hip pointer for Drake London and Grady Jarrett, as of yet, I haven't heard anything. And I got, like I said, I got an interesting question tonight. A hell of an interesting question tonight. And I got to talk to K-Styles about this one, but I think this is going to be a good one as well. So with that being said, man, he said about Jared Verse. Like I said, I'm not. I think Rook for the Falcons drafting Michael Penix is not a bad. It's not a bad deal. Even with you done, it's not a bad deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like I knew Jared Verse would be a pretty good player, but like I said, right now, as of now, the Falcons are 6-3. We good. I don't like to look back on draft picks, especially if we haven't seen our guys yet. We haven't seen what Michael Penix. So, I mean, if he end up being a superstar, who the hell gives a fuck about a Jared Verse if this dude end up being a superstar? If Kirk Cousins lead us to a Super Bowl, like who the hell cares about a Jared Verse? So I don't really like to look back on the draft, to be honest. So like I said, what I saw on Grady Jarrett, you can go back and look at the highlights of the after game. Grady was jumping, hopping, running to he was running to the locker room. So I don't think it was an issue where, it was as bad as they made it seem. It could have been just, the calf and Achilles area that was sore and whatnot. But like I said, they said he was on the sideline and they took him out for precautionary reasons. But the Falcons always do that. If they see a guy, Chris Lindstrom, they took Chris Lindstrom out of the game. And, he was back the next week. So the Falcons are known to look out for their players' health. And I think that's a good thing. Appreciate it. But I think, like I said, I think the Falcons have enough. They have enough with Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Mooney. Like I think they have enough. Because the thing is with Kirk Cousins, and you got to think too, the Falcons are going to be playing the Saints next. Okay, so I think they can afford. I hate to say it, but they can afford to sit Drake and sit Grady and still win that game. Yeah, I think they'll still be, So yeah, not a lot of news coming out just of yet. I know the Falcons would definitely have at some point some news come out. But this man, Kirk Cousins, has been throwing a lot of touchdowns. The Falcons are finally scoring touchdowns right now. So this is an interesting stat from Darnell Mooney. He has never had more than 7 catches of 20-plus yards, air yards in a season before. This season, he's already had 8. So, yeah, this Falcons team is really utilizing his abilities, Darnell Mooney. And I think those one of the most it's probably one of the best offseason moves that the Falcons have had in quite some time. Yeah, I'm looking at this damn play with Caleb Williams. Like he's oh wow. Let's play against Arizona. He running the sideline to sideline, running backwards, trying to throw the ball. He runs. Still couldn't find anybody. Tried to throw to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore just got frustrated. So, yeah, man. All this Patrick Mahomes like stuff, just they need to kill that dumb shit. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay, he's not. And you said weeks ago with the regulators, and Moore has been good supporting players' health. Look across the league, teams on IR, and that's why I said, like, even with Christie, even what I'm seeing with Dallas Cowboys with with CD Lamb, I just thought that's just ignorance. That's just pure ignorance. That just showed me that you don't care about that guy. Because he's dealing with a separated shoulder like that, an AC joint, and he's clearly in pain, but you still throwing him out there. Look, I ain't got time for stories. I don't got time for tough stories. Look, I need my players to be healthy, and I need them to play. If you feel like you got to go on the run and you dealing with a guy with injuries, like at some point you got to just use common sense. Some point you got to use common sense, and they don't use common sense. I don't know if they're high. Dion ain't going to no. That's one thing. Dion definitely ain't going to no New Orleans. Yeah, Dion is a flashy guy, and Bill Belichick. I don't know why he would want to go to New Orleans. Like Bill Belichick got a new girlfriend who about 20-something years old. What the fuck he want to go to New Orleans for? Like what, 89, almost $100 million in dead cap? Yeah, Bill damn sure ain't going there. And Cordero did get Drake London's snap, so that's probably who they'll have. Yeah, because like I said, Chris, like they got like $89 million in dead cap next year. So it was all or nothing this year anyway. It was just, like I said, it's dumb. Like I said, I don't know why anybody would want to go to New Orleans. In my opinion, they would have to hire somebody within, or give a coach that doesn't have a lot of experience the head coaching job, because I don't have a clue why you would want to go there, especially what's going on right now. So with that being said, man, appreciate everybody for joining. We, like I said, we got the originators tonight, 6:00. Join us for that. And like I said, at the end of the day, man, them Saints, they fired their head coach, Dennis Allen. The Atlanta Falcons are on top of the NFC South, and they're third in the league. All right, they're third behind the Commanders and the Lions. That is crazy in itself. The Commanders, Washington, and the Lions, Falcons. Like, who would have thought that? So we're in good position, man. We're definitely in good position. So with that being said, this has been your boy, man, Mike. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button here. Leave your questions under this particular video when it is done. But that's all I got to say about that, man. Appreciate
you. Put your eyes back in your head.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.